Hi, welcome to the video on test network speed with Python. So as network engineers, we're all very familiar with the user telling us that the network is slow or the website is loading slow. However, the term slow is a very subjective term. Seems slow is very different from one person to the next. So in this video, let's look at how we could test the network speed from a speed test using Python, as well as test network speed for a website destination. So let's look at some of the demonstration. Of course, as a note of reminder, the speed, because we're using Python, and Python is a several layers of abstraction, especially when you take into account the code, the OS, and it doesn't really necessarily represent the wire transfer on the bits and bytes transmitting over the wire. So therefore, just take these results with a grain of salt. It is the trending that you're looking for, that if you're basically getting this baseline usually, but all of a sudden it increased tenfold or increased fivefold, then you know that something must have been wrong or potentially be wrong, that you should investigate more. So instead of looking at the numbers as is, you want to probably just look for trending. So having said that, let's take a look at how we could use the PySpeed test in order to test the speed. So you can install the package via just pip and use the -h function to look at all the options. And let's just run a simple test from the command line that we could just see. It automatically detects using gRIP and determines that the closest site for me is Seattle, Washington in the United States. And it's going to shout the results for the ping time, the download time, as well as the upload time. So let's look at how we could use this in a script format. So we could pass to our users, or we could run it at strategic location within our enterprise so that we could constantly run these tests. As you can see, this is very simple to use. It has just a few lines, import the module, and you call the ping, the download, and the upload methods from that module. So let's run this, and it's going to take a little bit of time because it's just going to do the ping, and of course it's going to do the download, and it's going to return back the upload in a second. All right, great. So how, just by doing to a test site, it provides some kind of baseline for you. But how about if we want a particular website destination? Maybe you're running this from, say Amazon AWS, and coming into your company's website portal, and you want to have a particular destination to do a request from, which is a synthetic transaction that you could run to have a more objective test. So for that, we could use both the time module as well as the timer module. As you could see from line 6, the timer module actually takes the first line as the command is going to run, and the second is being the packages that it needs to import. It's going to run 5 times, and each time just once. And what we're going to do is we're also going to use the start and the stop time and calculate the delta, and then display what is the delta for running these requests 5 times. And we're going to display the time each time, how long it took to request in this case, the Google website. So let's run it. And as you can see, it took less than a second, and these are the average time that it took for the 5 times. And it makes sense, right? Because each time it takes about 0.15 seconds and so on, and adds up to about 0.7 seconds. In summary, in this video, we use Python to generate approximate time speed data for us to look at and to test our end-to-end network speed. In this section, we went over several testing and security modules that we could use for our purposes. First, we look at how we could test the DHC setup with Python client and server. We construct IP reachability tests with Python. We use OS fingerprinting. We create our own attacks. And lastly, we test our network speed with Python. And let's recap what we've gone through in the course. We've actually covered a lot of ground. So in section 1, we basically do the level setting, we set up the lab, as well as do some introduction of what we're going to cover for the course. In section 2, we started looking at automating the boring network tasks with Python. And in section 3, we started looking at the various monitoring things that we could do to using Python. And in the last section, we use various modules from Python to test and secure our network. And we barely scratched the surface on networking plus Python. I've always felt like we're still at day one, very early of networking plus Python, and basically the sky's the limit for us. I will encourage you to look at more of the mature frameworks that's written in Python, such as Ansible and Salt. And also, every time I look at Python, I feel like there's something new to be learned, especially now we're migrating to Python 3. A lot of new features and implementations are being done in the 3 train, and it's very exciting. So I want to let you know that let's keep in touch. Here's my LinkedIn profile, and here's my Twitter handle, ERICCHOU. And lastly, I want to say a big thank you. I know your time is valuable, so I appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of luck.